Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Late Model Fix Series race for you here, week 5. We are
If
at
retake is clear,
USA
alright Jake, we've
International
got 2
Speedway,
laps to get
going
the job
out
done mate.
for qualifying.
Fastest lap for Stafford,
Not sure how
22.07.
I feel about my pace and potential in this. Looks like the top 5 or 6 cars could be decently fast and pretty strong in terms of iRating. And then it looks like it might fall off to the back end. So, gonna go out, try to put the best lap that I can in. You could say I missed 1 and 2 there, so this lap's not gonna be very good. Gonna hopefully have to try to figure it out on lap 2, although typically lap 2 for me has been slower. Just gonna try to do the best that I can. It's just gonna be a bit of a struggle. I feel like this whole week, in anything I've tried to race other than the Tour Modified Open at Phoenix, I've been off pace, so just a bit of a struggle overall. This lap's not gonna be good. Overshot the corner, got it loose, coming in too hot, and then picked up the throttle too early and had to lift. So you can see we're all the way in the back. 22.35 is not very good. Yeah, and we back it up with a 56. So
13th place.
gonna stay out here, try to see if I can figure something out for the last minute and a half or so that I have. I think there's only 14 or 15 cars in the session. Looks like I think it's split 4 times, so did manage to get in the top split, but just really gonna have to try to find quite a bit overall. So hope is gonna be that if we're in the back, which we are, that it's going to be one of those where I can just try to avoid any mayhem that happens, try to save tires, but work through the field as quickly as possible, and then just have a shot at a top half by the end of the race. So do have Nick Neben in it, so if you watch this channel, feel free to check out that video when it comes out for a different perspective. I'm sure he will have a much more informative perspective as I crush the wall, so we're going to call it quits right there. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself in front of him. Yeah, it's not going to be very good. So, probably not a good idea, but I'm going to bump the steering ratio up. It's just, I know on short tracks it's probably not the best idea. It's just what I've gotten comfortable running a little bit. So, you can see we were second to last, 14 cars. Am expected to finish in 7th, so got a lot of work to do to get to where iRacing expects me to be. Just nowhere near what any of those guys are running. I honestly, in practice, when I was pushing it under qualifying and not trying to save tires, I was barely getting into the ones, so it really would only pick me up a couple spots. So just gonna have to hope I figure something out pretty quickly in the race to try to get there. Like I said, have some sort of calamity or something bad ensue that I can try to save tires and find some pace. I think it's possible to definitely wear out the right front here if you drive it in too hard or pick up the throttle too early, too hard, and lean on it all the way out of turn 2 and turn 4. It's definitely possible to wear out the right front. It's also possible to just trash the temps too. I think for everybody that doesn't way overdrive the car, that's going to be the more likely scenarios. You're gonna wear out the not wear out the tires, but you're gonna overheat them. It's also possible to pick up the throttle too hard too early out of turn 2 and turn 4
That's the end
and
of the
get the car
session,
sliding all the way.
3:13.
And if you do that, you're obviously going to heat up the right rear too much. So it's going to be a balancing act of trying to push to pick up spots where I can while being safe and smart about it so that I don't get any incident points, don't wreck anybody, don't get involved in anything, as well as trying to avoid whatever happens and save tires at the same time. So gonna get girded up. This is definitely gonna be a challenge for me. Like I said, I feel like pretty much all of this week has been a challenge for me. Gonna have Nick actually right in front of us, so we're gonna try to keep it as clean as we can with him in front. It's been a challenge the whole week. I don't know, for whatever reason, outside of the Tour Mod Open at Phoenix, I just don't feel like I've had pace really in anything. So it's been a bit frustrating, but that's racing. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have good races, bad races, everything. It's just kind of how it goes. So it just is what it is, I guess. Gonna refresh Payne's thought. It had everybody updated, but I don't know. We'll see. So gonna try to do the best that I can to just make the most of it. If we finish back, hopefully it's a stronger field and it's not as much to hang my head on. Just gonna have to see how it goes, and hopefully in 40 laps we'll have something good to see. Hopefully I'll have something good to show you guys, good to report to you. It's definitely something I enjoy running for sure. Just for whatever reason cannot figure out how to drive it, so yeah, gonna get ready to roll off shortly. We'll have 2 pace ups, and
40 laps. The track
just gonna do the best that I can to try to work my way towards the front. I would say honestly anything 7th or better is gonna be a really good result given how far back I am. And if I am somehow able to avoid traffic and problems, then maybe if there's some sort of big wreck that happens, top 10 or not, excuse me, not top 10, top 5 is possible. I don't think that's personally gonna happen. I got a feeling with how big this track is and how long the straightaways are, it's gonna allow people to get spread out after the first few laps. So if nothing major doesn't happen in the first few laps, then you're likely not going to pick up spots from wrecks in that sense. But gonna do the best I can. Just try to see if I can take advantage of the inside line and follow Nick up through. He's usually fairly decent at working his way through traffic when he's got the pace, so see if I can follow him up through without overdriving the car at all. And worst case, it's really not like I can finish too much further back than where I'm starting, so at least that goal should be fairly easy to obtain to beat out the starting position. I know I was trying to improve qualifying efforts for this season, and that did not bode well for that goal, but certainly plenty of time to try to make up for it. So gonna get ready to go. Pace car is gonna be pulling off. Leader is going to be taking a relatively early start, which with how long these straights are is definitely in his advantage to try to get the best run possible. Just slowing up into the corner, kind of letting everybody go. You got double file for the 3 rows up ahead, so easily something could happen. Just gonna kind of sit back here and watch and see what happens. I'm guessing the 13 would be thinking about trying to get down low, but I'm gonna try to work to his inside. See if I can get on the inside of him going into turn 1. 11's kind of also looking to get to the inside, so if I can try to get to his inside, take the position away, we've got a wreck up front. Somehow able to avoid that. Unfortunately going to give up the spot to the 11 on the outside, but it was definitely worth it to get by the 3 there. So he was kind of right in the middle of the track and really wasn't sure which way to go, although with the 11 on the outside, it was inside line was really kind of the only way to get around that. So you can see 11 kind of overdrives it into the corner, gets it a little bit loose. Kind of did the same thing, although it wasn't quite as bad, so that's definitely something to keep an eye out for, and that'll overheat tires for sure. It might be fast initially, but I think over the course of the run you'll overheat tires and put yourself in a worse spot. So if I can get into the 2s, based on what I was doing in practice for this steering ratio combination, I'll feel pretty happy with that, even if it's not anywhere near competitive pace. So, just watching this group of cars up front. Keep an eye out to see if there's any contact. You can see the 9's getting hung out, or excuse me, not the 9. I believe that's the 8 getting hung out on the outside. Looks like some contact might have been between the 8 and the 9 there. So, just gonna keep an eye out for that. Easily could send somebody spinning, and that's not something I want to be part of. No gap or no pressure behind from the 3. He was the one that went spinning. I'm assuming if the car is not really damaged, he should have the pace to come back up. So might be a spot I have to give up when he gets back here, but just going to keep an eye on that. Behind him, looks like the 13's another 3/4 of a second off or so. So even if the 3 gets there, might just be smart enough to let him by and fall back to 11th. But Picked up 2 spots off the start at least, so that's positive progress, and we definitely got some cars up here that if I can, you know, not wear out the tires too much, definitely could have the possibility to get by. So I wouldn't say a 7th place is out of the realm of possibility, but it's definitely going to require some luck and really smart driving on my part as well in terms of the tires. Just need to make sure I don't pick up the throttle quite as early through the corners and let the car roll just a little bit more so I don't stress out that right front quite as much. Got the 3 coming up, probably going to let him by going into turn 1 if I can. Got about the same gap as I had before, back to the 13, so try to get to 3 by as quickly as I can, just fall in line behind him, and hopefully try to save tires a little bit. Just no reason to challenge him when I'm this far in the back, and it's very clear. Even with the damaged car, he's still got that much more pace than me. So, sucks being a back marker, but just is what it is, I suppose. Yeah, I just haven't had as much time this week into racing, haven't gotten to practice quite as much as I would like, and that's showing that, you know, since for whatever reason I'm just not finding this track natural for me. You know, that's needed to work extra hard to find it. So sucks getting beat by a bunch of people that I probably shouldn't be, but you know, it just is what it is sometimes. I'm not proud of that. I hate showing that to you guys, but you know, that's again the reality of it, and I don't like to show you know, only the good side. I want to show you the whole entirety and the reality of it, so you can see what my journey's like, you know, downfalls, triumphs, all that stuff. So feel like I'm probably quicker than the 13. I think he might be driving it a bit hard, so it's possible as the run goes on that he could
Okay, Jake, the next car
end up wearing out tires and I can start pulling away. We're still relatively early on, only 12 down and 28 to go, so trying to take a little bit of a higher entry into it, apex a little bit longer, try to take advantage of the long straightaways, as well as hopefully ease a little bit of the stress on the right front of not pinching in quite so much. You can see the 3's working to the inside of the 11 now. Unfortunately, I don't think that battle's going to go on side by side long enough for me to get to the 11. 11 did the same thing basically that I did, letting the 3 by. That was, in terms of race strategy, the smartest move. So definitely sucks when you've got a car that's damaged that can easily drive by. Makes me feel pretty bad when I've got no damage, that my pace is that bad, but you know, just doing the best that I can out of it. So hopefully this is a higher strength of field, so it doesn't make me feel quite so bad about getting my butt kicked in it. I feel like I'm catching up to the 11 a little bit. Still looks like he's overdriving the corner a little bit in terms of, you know, how hard he's getting on the brake and how fast he's coming in. 13's doing a fairly good job of hanging with me. Looks like might have pulled away a little bit. Not sure if that's tire wear now or if that's him just backing off a little bit or having a mistake. So I think at least 10th place should be a possibility if I can keep the 13 behind me. Again, with letting the 3 and falling back there, getting him by, I think 7th is definitely going to be a very, very, very tough prospect, as well as requires some luck out of it. So not sure if we're going to have enough laps to realize any tire wear savings compared to the guys in front, but certainly going to do the best that I can, see what I can find out of it. Check the gap to the 11 this time. It's 0.9 at the line, so we'll see if I can start closing that up at all, because I definitely am going to need to get to him as quickly as possible and get by him if I want to have any shot at being able to get by. Probably going to make a brake bias adjustment in the next lap or two. Did start with the brakes all the way back at 50%, going to move them back a little bit further. So you can see I picked the throttle a little too early through 3 and 4. Unfortunately, that hurt my run as I had to lift in the middle of 3 and 4, so gap stayed at 0.9. Feel like we are probably catching the 11, but unfortunately I just don't know if it's going to be quite enough, and it looks like that corner he was able to pull away a little bit more. So certainly going to be a bad finish no matter what, just trying to make the most of it. Move the brake bias back a little bit. You got the 13 catching back up. He's definitely driving in pretty aggressive, diving in, taking the inside line, which is hurting him on the run off because he's kind of almost pinching the car a little bit through the center and off, but I know he's trying to steal that inside line away from me and push me up the track. So right now, just going to keep running my line. I don't think he's close enough yet that it would be my fault if I came down. And while, yes, it's probably not worth running in the back like this and losing a spot, but, you know, just want to try to put myself in the best spot I can to try to at least get to the 11. We got 21 down, 19 to go. Really going to have to hope for some difference in tire wear at this point that I can try to realize it. I slammed the wall coming out of the corner. Thankfully, didn't get an incident point, but 11 did the same thing, so couldn't quite take advantage of his mistake there. Don't think it was me catching, you know, watching him and following him in like can happen to people. I think it was just me picking up the throttle a bit too early, so certainly catching him. 13's hanging on. Got another side-by-side battle up front brewing again between the, I believe it's still the 8 and the 9. Nick 6 is looking to get the inside of the 9. They run side-by-side. Looks like he's able to get by the 9. Trying to see if I can take a little bit more of a arc into the corner. That did not work out as I pick up corner that time. Get instant point. You can see the right front damage. 13 is going to take advantage of it. Get to my inside.
Still there.
Just completely unforced error, trying to drive too hard, trying to pick up spots, so not good. Gonna switch to session last lap, try to find the inside line. 13 kind of pushes up a little bit to me. Down the front stretch going into 1. I just got run by. This car is so bad now. I've torched the right front by doing that, as well as might have possibly hurt the suspension, so gonna look real bad, but just gonna try to recover, see if I can do the best I can. Got a big wreck on the front stretch, gonna go low. We've got cars going down low, 9's involved, 13's there. Somehow able to avoid the 9 out of that. There's cars just going everywhere, so it's gonna allow me to pick up a couple spots there. Still gonna be way back of Nick in 7, so doubt I will have any shot at picking that spot up, but certainly gonna try to do the best that I can. That was a big gift. That was a big gift to get into 8th. That was kind of what I needed in order to have any shot at picking up spots. So, yeah. 12 also manages to work his way through that. I think he was far enough back to be able to pick up something. So, some scary moments there. That was requiring a lot of right turns and left turns all at once. So, yeah, not sure what happened there. I'll take a look at that afterwards and see how it started. I just saw smoke and started to go one way, and then cars start rolling every which way, so really wasn't sure what the best move was, and just kind of made a run for it and hoped that I could get through it. You see how we line up to Nick. I think we're probably losing time. I think that damage has just killed me quite a bit. So looks like 5.4, so might be holding the same as him. Unfortunately, that's just going to be way too big of a gap to make up. Did move the brake bias back just a little bit more there, just to try to get the car into the corners. I mean, it's very possible that I wore the right front tire out as well, but I got a feeling it's more on the damage from that wall hit. That was a pretty hard hit.
You've just done
so
22.70.
Although with how much I had to slow down there and everything, I don't honestly know if I would have been able to stick close enough to the back of the pack and still stand a chance at being able to make up any spots. So at this point, just going to do what I can, try to run as consistent laps as I can, and see if I can put myself in the position that if another wreck does happen, I can take advantage of it. Definitely feel how wore out the tires were. You can see how bad that corner was. I think part of the problem too was I entered a little bit too low going into 1, and that, like I said, that kind of talks about that pinching effect in the center of the corner that just does not allow you to pick up the throttle as early and rotate out of the corner as well. So
you've just done a 22.
Still got to make sure that I try to turn as fast a lap times as I can, even if it doesn't seem like it's going to matter. Certainly got to keep digging and try to do the best that I can. So conceded leader on the relative. Don't think we should have any issue staying on the lead lap. Obviously, I'll be way far back, and I don't think even with the 12, I think the 12's catching me. We'll take a look. I don't think there's going to be enough time for them to catch me either. So hopefully should just be able to keep it clean. If the 13 does get back to me on a fresh car, I'm certainly just going to let them go. No reason to fight them at all. Looks like we are pulling away from the 12, so no pressure there for losing 8th place, and I am not catching Nick in 7th at all, so likely just going to be an 8th place finish, which is significantly better than what I was running before that. Better than what I kind of thought, given how the race was going. It was looking more like 11th or 12th place finish, so
that was a 22.
certainly going to take advantage of good fortune when I can.
Car low.
Got on throttle too early there, but still going to just let the 13 by.
Clear low.
And I've come across the line this time by for 5 to go. Gonna have to try to step a little bit. You can see the leader. He backed off a little bit. I thought he was catching up a little bit more, but it looks like he might have backed off a little bit, so. Just gonna try to ride these laps out, do the best that I can. Feel bad that that kind of caused everything to split up a little bit, and that you're now not getting to see me run for position with anybody, but I'm just thankful to have gotten through that as cleanly as possible. We'll definitely take a look. I bet you me getting by everybody was not as close as it felt to me being inside the car, but it was
about another 65 laps, Carson.
Definitely a nerve-wracking feeling there, trying to swerve left and right down the front stretch and going into turn 1 to avoid all that. 3 to go this time by. Just trying to ride it around, see if I can continue to click off consistent laps, as well as keep it off the wall. Not look like any more of an idiot than I already did for the couple of wall smacks that I had. Not really worried about tires. I mean, I'm not just trying to destroy the right front, but at this point, with only 2 laps left, it's not really too much of a concern. It's just all about clicking off clean laps and trying to do the same thing. And white flag's out, so we should get to finish on the lead lap at least, which is somewhat of an accomplishment given how far I was off the pace, as well as you know, having all the wrecks that I had to avoid there. And bring it home in 8th, so 1 spot off of where I should have finished, I guess, from 13th place starting spot. That's a decent improvement. It obviously did not come on speed, it came on avoiding wrecks, but hey, that's kind of how it goes sometimes. So let's jump out, take a look at the start, and see what I had to avoid there. Bring the camera down some. Alright, so we're going to have kind of overshot the corner a little bit, but I was just content to ride at this point, and just kind of feel it out since we had the 2x2x2 up there. I was just kind of content to feel it out and see what I could do. 13, I felt like I had pace on. That's when I wanted to get to the inside of him. Same thing as the 11. You can see it looked like almost made contact on the front stretch. So got by the 13 going into the corner, and then tried to get by the 11. The 13 did the smart thing of falling in behind me to try to take the inside line. So then we've got the issue with the 3 up here. We'll go take a look at that, but it looks like he comes across the 5. 5 might have pushed up. Take a look, but he's spinning, so right here I'm like, I see him, and it thought he might be going high, so he does a good job. It looks like of either locking the brakes or getting on the gas and getting pointed, so I ended up going low to avoid him. I don't think there was contact between the 13, but it was pretty close, so that obviously, with me having to get on the brakes like that and then pick up the gas, obviously hurt the momentum off the corner. And that put me a bit further behind, so that was kind of already a gap I lost a little bit right there. Let's take a look at it from the 3's perspective and see if he came down or what happened. So he's running side by side with the 2. Yeah, I think he thinks he's clear of the 5, and he's going to try to tuck back in below the 2 in order to try to get a little bit of a better run, as well as prevent the 5 from taking the inside line away from him and losing another spot. And he's just not obviously clear there. And he comes across the 5. And then the 5 kind of had to hold up, and that allowed the 4 to get back of him and kind of continue to push the 3. So let's take a look at the end right there. That was for sure the interesting part. I'm going to back it up one lap before, just so that way we can kind of see the full thing coming up to it. So yeah, this obviously was where I had absolutely no shot at anybody. It was pretty far behind. And it should be this lap, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be this lap here. So gonna have the 13. I had to get out of the throttle there, drove it in too hard, and then the 13 is the issue. So the 9's got the issue already. We're gonna be able to get by him on the high side. Maybe that wasn't the lap, excuse me. No, that was not the lap. It was after the 13 was already wrecked. So here it is, sorry. That's completely my fault. So I just completely messed up the lap times. Alright, so let's watch it from my perspective. Following behind the 13, this was after I made the mistake, had the right front damage, let him by. You've got the wreck up in the front. And yeah, alright. So, you can see we've got the wreck as I'm coming out of turn 4. You can see it happening right at the start-finish line. I'm behind the 13. I'm going low to avoid it because they were high. But then you can see there's contact between the 9. I believe it might be the 8, possibly. That happened to the bottom third of the front stretch going into turn 1. So now I got to start thinking about going high. The 13 just drives straight into the 12. I don't really think the 12 is coming off too hard, so I just had to slam on the brakes to avoid the 13 now coming down, jerk it to the right, and then also try to get by the 9 while not putting myself in the wall again, and that was the 11. So that wasn't as close as I thought, but that was definitely a rough run to avoid for sure. So let's take a look at that from the, I guess is going to be the 9's perspective. Let's see what happens here. Alright, so we've got the 12. This is going to be on the back stretch leading up to the collision. So we've got the 9 running on the inside of the 12. 9's definitely got the line. I think he picks up the throttle a little too early, just drifts up into him. I would say while the 12 was kind of pinching him down for sure, I don't really think the 12 turned down too much. I think the 9 just kind of drove it out a little too wide. Maybe picked up. I know he's trying to pick up the throttle early to get the run off the corner and try to get ahead of him down the straightaway, but I think he might have picked it up slightly too early, and that kind of, I don't know, that kind of sent the 12 a bit wide, and then the 12 kind of lost it. Might have been on the throttle a little too hard too, and overcorrects. I don't really think he overcorrects. I think he just loses it, and gets into the 9, which then sends them across the track. So as the 9's coming down, the 11's trying to go low to avoid him. That's where I saw the collision there and had to jerk it back to the right, along with the 13 driving into the 12. So let's take a look at it from the 12's perspective and see. I don't know. I think I'm going to find the 9 more at fault here than I am the 12. But, because if you look at it in relation to that marker, he's basically following that and giving a lane to the inside. He's starting to come up, and the 9's just continuing to come up more. There's the contact there, whether or not that counted as contact or if that was just prediction code. But then that kind of got him, he was probably trying to turn to the left while on the throttle while getting the contact from the 9 pushing him out. I think that might have gotten the rear end starting to slide a little bit. So that kind of got him loose, and then it brought the car back down a little bit, because these cars are definitely tough to save at times. And as soon as he made that second contact with the 9 and sent him across the wall, they were both going to be getting wrecked there. So I think personally I'm still going to lay more of the fault on the 9. I don't really think there was a ton different the 12 could have done there. It's just my opinion out of it, but I obviously could be wrong. Let's take a look at this from the 13's perspective. So he's already looking low, sees the wreck happening there, starts straightening it out, and then I don't know. I don't know if he was too worried about where I was. He definitely had room to go left a little bit, although I don't know if I would have been barreling it in quite as hard as he was. So probably was avoidable by him if he had just moved, down half a lane or so. And he honestly didn't even need to jerk it half a lane down. He could have just kind of gradually eased it down and then cut back to the right to avoid the 9. So I would say while he didn't have as bad a contact as the 9 and the 11 out of that, or the 12, he definitely could have avoided that. So that brought him back. So tires aren't going to look great, 85, 85. You can see differences is the tire temp's about 20 degrees warmer, so I was definitely leaning on that right front, although at the end, I kind of really was trying to just run and not care as much about that, so that probably aided in that, and then those swerves didn't help things, but, definitely had to learn how to drive different, but clearly those guys just knew how to drive that much faster while still doing the same tire wear as I did, so got a lot to learn. Let's take a look at the results, see if they are loaded, and see how bad the damage to both iRating and safety rating is. Hopefully should be able to gain a little bit of safety rating. iRating's not going to be great. Wow, there's 5 splits actually. A lot of entries for whatever reason. 2794 strength of field, so not absolute highest for late model fix, but definitely not bad for what I've seen. About 3, almost 4/10 off in terms of fast lap. Pace is kind of hard to judge just because of how much I had to avoid stuff. So still able to actually gain 6, so somehow break even out of that. I will gladly take that. Able to gain 0.12, so just under 2550, just over 2.5. So hopefully a few more clean races if I run anything longer and keep it clean. Hopefully can get over the 3.0 in the next few races, and then maybe by end of week 6 or week 7, be back to the A license if possible. So certainly the wall contact was avoidable. Could have easily had a 0x race out of it. But trying to do the best I can, make the most out of it. So I feel bad that I did not have the pace to show you guys anything competitive. Feel bad that I was so far away from being able to run with other cars, but at least able to show you some wreck avoidance and pick up some free spots that way. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Feel free to leave any comments, feedback below. Love to hear from you guys. Just love to hear from you in general. And until the next one, stay tuned for more races, and hopefully all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.